The following is an original Leonard Station podcast.
Jones again, trying to go three wide to the bottom. He's not going to get it done. And Martin Truex Jr. with a tremendous restart. Here comes Harvick, flying wide around the outside. He's up to fourth.
2014 with Dylan Kwasniewski, for example. He went from Canon champion to Xfinity Series sellout.
I thought it was pretty cool. The battles were pretty good. Long runs were pretty good. I just liked it.
I know he wants to make it in the playoffs and all that, but I just don't think the Hendrick as a whole has done well, with the exception of Chase Elliott.
Jonathan Logan wins the Crosley Brands 150 at Kentucky.
Indianapolis race will get stuck coming out of the season throughout all clubs.
Oh my gosh! Alvin Summers, the third part-time driver in the playoffs!
Buckle up your seatbelts. It's time for the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 3 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. And there's not a whole lot of news and updates or anything, so I think this might be a very short and sweet episode, just like it was last week when I was just by myself and nobody came. But you know what? That's a-okay. I only have one panelist here, and that is Mr. Cody Smart.
Yes. Hello, I have returned.
Yes, he has returned from his other personal vendettas from last that were plaguing him from last week. Not that I expected him to be here, but oh well. I don't really expect people to be here every single week. Just if they can make it, then that's fine. But this is episode 3, and as you see by the thumbnail, if you're watching this on YouTube, yes, we're still going to talk about Todd Gilliland, but there's just some bigger things that we need to discuss. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead, get this party started. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot, as I have said. Only one silly season updates to say, and the thumbnail pretty much speaks for itself. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, you will probably already know that Hailie Deegan has confirmed all the rumors of going over to DGR Crosley and becoming a Ford driver, and DGR Crosley becoming a Ford team. That's the case. DGR had recently recently created a partnership with Ford, and Hailie Deegan has signed on with DGR Crosley for the full 2020 ARCA Series season, and that's interesting. That's very interesting. I never really expected this. I didn't see this coming, but by gosh, I think this is going to be very interesting to see how her 2020 season is going to go as far as Hailie Deegan is concerned, and as far as how DGR Crosley is going to perform with Ford. And as I said last week, I mean, DGR has been with Ford before when they were in the late model circuit. So I think this should be Ford and DGR should be no strangers to each other. And as far as Hailie Deegan and Ford goes, that's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts, Cody?
This is an amazing addition to the Ford program, I must say. And DGR Crosley going into Ford, I'm going to say it's not a bad move, especially if you're familiar with the manufacturer. This will mean that it's just a simpler transition via manufacturer. You won't have the typical disadvantage that you would usually have for anyone swapping teams. I think DGR Crosley is going to do as well as they had before, and that was Hailie Deegan going for the championship in ARCA, and we'll probably end up having a truck slate toward the end of the season as well. I'm going to say this is her chance for the big time now. This is a national league we're talking about. So best of luck to her, because she's had her previous successes in the East and West divisions of what is now the ARCA West and East now. So wish her luck for the national division.
Yeah, best of luck to her. I mean, This is a very big opportunity for her to race, to now get to know some of these other tracks that are on the circuit, such as Daytona and Talladega, for instance. The short tracks, I will definitely say they're going to be no fluke to her at all. She's probably going to get to a short track that's on the circuit and pick up right where she left off when she was in the K&N West Series, now known as the ARCA West Series. So, I mean, you know, I think this is going to be interesting, and I think this is going to be fun. So, can't wait to see what happens. All right. So that's the only silly season news update as of today, December 18th, that has come up. Now let's get into some of the breaking stories that have transpired, you know, as of December 18th, 2019. You know, Busch returns to sponsor the Clash for the first time since 1997. Just about 25 years ago, almost to that point, once we get to 2022. But Busch is coming back to become the title sponsor of the Clash. And to me, this is a great move. This is a really good marketing move, because if you're trying to re-attract some of the older fan base, some people from the older fan base, I mean, I think it's not a bad move. But, you know, it brings back a lot of memories of just the Clash when it was called the Busch Clash back from 97 on back. So I think this is a really good marketing move as far as that's concerned, and just, you know, it's the Clash. So I mean, of course, you've got to rename it the Busch Clash.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I'll agree right with you. If it's going to try to re-attract older fans into the sport, basically back to the days of Thunder, like they have been trying to as of late, then that's a good marketing move by NASCAR. Finally have Busch reunited as a title sponsor for the Clash. And I think it's going to be a great success. The Clash will probably be more successful than it ever has, because the Clash is one of the most entertaining races on the schedule, even though it's not a points race. So, with that coming back, I think it's going to be a great showing and great race.
I 100% agree. So, with one beer product coming in to return to become the title sponsor of the Clash, one other beer product is unfortunately packing their bags and heading south, and that is Miller Lite. They are leaving NASCAR. After being a part of the sport for over 35 years, this I think is sort of a big blow, because this is a sponsor that, as I said, has been around since 1983, when they were sponsoring Bobby Allison as Miller throughout the years, and then they became Miller High Life with Rusty Wallace, and then they became what we now know as Miller Lite today. So I think this is going to be a really big blow as far as just iconic sponsors go. But with Penske, they have a multitude of sponsors. So I don't think they're going to be going. I don't think Penske is really going to be hurt by this whatsoever, because, like I said, they have a multitude of sponsors. They have tons of sponsorship money that they get from those sponsors. So they're going to be fine, regardless of what happens.
I mean, too many big sponsors have been leaving NASCAR lately, and it's really bringing in a blow when it comes to like sponsors leaving NASCAR. It's just, unfortunately, change has not been very nice to NASCAR. And this goes to all sorts of changes. And now yet another big sponsor leaving NASCAR. That's basically going to hurt them more with more of these big-time sponsors who have sponsored NASCARs for years now leaving the sport. I mean, we had Lowe's around for a while, then they left. And a couple other sponsors left the sport. It really brings in a giant hole that NASCAR has put themselves into. So, I don't know. It's always a blow when a big sponsor leaves because, again, change hasn't been that nice to NASCAR in the past years.
And sometimes when you have some of these other bigger sponsors leave, such as Miller Lite now, and Target, and Budweiser, and Lowe's, I mean, you're going to have big sponsors like those. Dollar General's another one. You're going to have big sponsors like those just sometimes pack their bags and leave. I mean, even there's going to be more sponsors that maybe people have never heard of before, such as, Toco or Topoco, that was on Clint Boyer's car in the All-Star race, as well as Acorn, Wyndham Rewards, just to name a few sponsorships that probably nobody knows what they are. I mean, hardly anybody knows what they are, unless if you look it up. But I don't think yes, it's a big blow. Yes, it hurts them. But will they eventually recover from all of this? Yes, it takes time. But, you're going to have sponsors that come in and you're going to have sponsors that leave. And that's just the reality of sports just in general. Whether it be football, basketball, baseball, whatever. You're going to have big-time sponsors that come in and, sponsor, a pregame show, whatever. And then you're going to have sponsors that leave. It happens. I mean, it's just the reality. Also, there was moving on to the next news topic here, and this was actually a pretty big blow to the sport as far as pioneers. Bill Simpson, who is very well known for the safety innovations inside the race car, is just also making drivers and the racing a little bit safer with the Simpson seatbelts and helmets and such. Unfortunately, after suffering a major stroke, he has passed away. It's very sad to hear, but our thoughts and prayers go out to the Bill Simpson's family at this time. Our thoughts and condolences go out to his family at this time. And, it's still, I mean, even though this episode is coming out a week later, I mean, it's still a really big blow. It really is. It's still a pretty darn huge blow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know very much about the Pioneers, but no matter what, a death to someone so dear would affect everyone. So thoughts to prayers to all of them out there and to Bill Simpson's family, of course.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's still a blow, but, he's going to be missed. 100%, he's going to be missed. All right, so let's pick things back up here. Let's get the mood back up here. And then with that, you also have Stewart-Haas Racing. Just recently, they shut down their 00 team in the Xfinity Series. To me, and I was talking to Cody about this before we started the show, I think this is a good move. This is a really good move because you've already done everything you needed to do with Cole Custer. He's already now up to the Cup Series. He's right where you want him to be in that 41 car. Not that you wanted to kick Suarez out, but, eventually, Cole Custer has really, really massively improved over the last 2 years that he was in Xfinity, and Stewart-Haas felt that he was ready for the Cup Series. And once Suarez was announced that he would not be returning, I mean, I know this was after Cole Custer was announced to take over the 41. At that point, I mean, sometimes if you want to keep that 00 team going, you could have. But Stewart-Haas really didn't see the need to have that 00, I guess. So they shut it down. And now I think it's a good thing because you can take whatever resources that you had with the 00 and then apply those resources to their 98 car, which is being piloted by Chase Briscoe, and you can watch the pieces fall where they may. So to me, I think this is a really good move.
I mean, not really bad at all as you come to think of it, because the lineup for replacements wasn't very all that big. The top options you have were either bring Daniel Suarez down to the Xfinity Series or pick up who would have been the most likely free agent, Todd Gilliland, to start Haas Racing. But, I mean, they brought the resources and most likely brought the crew to Cole Custer's 41 car for the Cup Series. And now they're going to work on developing Cole Custer into the start of his Cup career. And I think they're going to do some good in the 41. Yeah, they are not playoff material, but they are in some footing to where they'll do pretty well for his rookie season. And now bring it over to Chase Briscoe. Briscoe can now become a true championship contender. I mean, this is his second or third year in Xfinity for Chase Briscoe. Okay, this is his second year. And I think he's going to do really good in the 98 this season. If they keep up the momentum of the Xfinity program, Briscoe could be a huge championship threat, just like Austin Cindric and probably Daniel Suarez. I don't know where Suarez is going next season, but they do say expect him to be in Xfinity. But anyway, Chase Briscoe is going to be a serious contender in 2020, no doubt.
I agree. As long as they use those resources that they had from Cole Custer's Xfinity ride wisely, then I think that 98 is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Mark my words. All right, so now we get down to the main event of this whole episode. This is what I've talked about, what I've sort of was advertising the last 2 weeks about Todd Gilliland. Speaking of Todd Gilliland, we don't really know what his plans are for next year. He hasn't really announced if he's returning to KBM. We don't know if he's going to be going over to his dad's team. We don't know what's going to be happening. If he's going to go back down to the ARCA series or go to ARCA East, ARCA West, or go back to the late models. We don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean... So Cody, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to be predicting? Todd, what kind of predictions are you thinking of that Todd Gilliland's plans are going to be? What are you thinking?
Well, KBM already has 2 full-time drivers in their lineup. And their lineup, I don't know either one. I consider them strong or not so strong. Like, Question Eckes, I think, will be a playoff contender. But Rafael is on the other end. I don't know about him. I felt like he got rushed into the Truck Series. So for Rafael Lazard, I don't know. I don't think he's going to do too well, especially with higher competition, expanding their teams, and now having to go against those like Zane Smith, Tyler Increment, a high tier team now. It's pretty tough to predict where Todd Gilliland's going to go. But if I were to think, I'd say that worst case scenario, he gets in the 17 truck full time. That would be the worst case scenario that could happen. But I do think that there is a good chance that he will go to the NASCAR Xfinity Series and race for a underdog team. I know Greg Golding is out of the 08 or likely to be out of the 08. So Todd Gilliland could be a replacement for that ride, and he could have a decent rookie year. Not a really good rookie year, but it would be decent nevertheless. And probably have assistants, DGR Crosley themselves, and maybe have him do some truck races. So no matter what happens, I think it's going to include him racing in the truck series for his father's team. Either that's part-time while he's in Xfinity, or it's going to be full-time with him in the 17. I think it's going to be one of those two things that happens to Todd Gilliland.
I'm probably thinking something similar. Because if anything, if by gosh he doesn't go back to Kyle Busch Motorsports, then you might as well try to see if you can get your dad to sign you on, or whatever, or try to have your dad sign you on, or at least see if your dad is going. Well, I'm basically saying the same thing, but if either your dad signs you on or you get your dad to sign you on, and you can drive for your dad's team full time in the truck series, because I think he's done pretty well with his dad when I've seen him race one time in the late models. But as far as racing a limited schedule in Xfinity, maybe. There's a chance. I mean, he could probably race for, I don't know. Let's say, for example, let's say DGR Crosley opens up, well, not really opens up an Xfinity team, but let's just say, for example, Todd Gilliland gets signed for a part-time deal with Penske Racing. Let's just say that, for example, and he runs maybe 4 or 5 races with them, and that's it. But I mean, I don't really see him racing in Xfinity right now. He hasn't really done a whole lot in the truck series in order to prove to other owners that he is Xfinity series bound yet. I mean, he's not there yet. I mean, he's got talent, don't get me wrong, but I don't really think he's there yet. He's not Xfinity series bound yet. He'll get there, but when, I have no clue. But for right now, I see him racing full time with his dad in the 2020 season.
Yeah, because to be fair, I mean, Gilliland could maybe not have a full-time season next year, because Todd Gilliland has proven that he can be decent on track on the truck series. It just means for the first year, he just couldn't win. He could have won quite a few races, but a lot of things happened to him. Either he ran out of fuel, or something else happened, or he had a penalty. It was always something with Todd Gilliland in 2018. The 2019 was like the major dry spell for Kyle Busch Motorsports, at least within their full-time programs. And then it comes down to this year. Towards the end of this year, Todd Gilliland did win a race. So now you got to decide, where is he going to go? Because there are some developing drivers who sometimes don't have a full-time season, or don't have a season where they contend for a championship per se. I think this will most likely be the season to where Todd Gilliland doesn't compete for a championship. Yeah. I think he's going to get a part-time. What's going to most likely happen is that he's going to get a part-time slate with DGR Crosley and one of the trucks that they have, and he'll run probably half the season there, and then he'll race select races or half the season the Xfinity series. Either that's for the 08 that I mentioned earlier, or he tries to hook up with Team Penske to see if they can try to release their 12 car for more races, because they barely had that car come out for races this year. So chances are they are just focusing in for Cendric. But since Cendric is basically almost ready for a breakout season, I doubt it. So possibly somebody like, trying to think of a 4-team that's kind of but you don't get that in the Xfinity series, other than the teams that you think they would be, but they won't. So the most likely scenario could be either that, or he can try to fill in some races for DGR Motorsports, but also doubt that as well. I mean, he could have a chance. That I feel like the most realistic chance for Todd Gilliland to get some sort of Xfinity slate is with, I think it's SS Greenlight Racing. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's where the doubles, the 07 and the 08.
Yeah, I think that would be the most likely destination if Todd Gilliland would to go to the Xfinity Series, is to go to that team, but they're not Ford. So, I mean, it's a very tricky process. That's just a very awkward and tricky process.
Then again, I mean, he could just go to the Xfinity Series and just become a Chevy driver. Whatever he chooses to do, I mean, like I said, what we're talking about is just what we predict is going to happen. But then again, Todd Gilliland could throw a swerve on us and just say, no, screw it, I'm going to SS Greenlight Racing in the Xfinity Series. You never know. You never really know what could happen. Anything is possible between now and the start of the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, Xfinity Truck Series, yes. So, we've seen a couple of curveballs before this silly season, like John Hunter Nemechek putting himself in the Cup Series next season for Front Row Motorsport. I mean, that was something a lot of us didn't expect. I mean, the most likely thing we could have expected from him was to stay in the Xfinity for maybe Joe Gibbs Racing, but that somehow didn't happen. So there could be a couple more curveballs before the end of the silly season. I'll say that.
Excuse me. I mean, you never know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. So we've gotten through everything. We have gotten through everything that is on this news and notes sheet that I have here with under half an hour. So, hey, that's actually a pretty impressive record. I will definitely say that. But anyways, that's going to do it for episode 3 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this, whether if it's on YouTube or Spotify. If you're on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the Leonard Station if you haven't. If you're listening to Spotify, be sure to give us a follow. I mean, we would definitely appreciate that. We appreciate that too. I cannot speak anymore. I may have to go to some more speech therapy. But also if you want to follow us on our social medias and subscribe to our other YouTube channels, for me, it's not only here at the Leonard Station, it's also my vlog. There's also my vlogging channel, Elijah Leonard, and also my music channel, 11. Then Facebook, there's my Elijah Leonard Facebook page, the Rewind Facebook page, which is basically powered by the Leonard Station, and as well as the Leonard Station Facebook page. You'll also find my Twitter, which is @11official, and then my Instagram is @11_official. That is EL11VN. Just that way you guys are not confused.
Yeah,
what about you, Cody?
I mean, I don't really have anything active right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Especially, I gotta make some big decisions and fast within the next couple weeks. So there's a pretty good chance I might be sending in an update video that I definitely have to. I always say to update videos, and I don't. To the Super Saiyan Mustang channel. I do not know what's going to happen with the future. It sounds good, and it looks like I might be able to continue MP, but we're going to have to wait and see. A lot of it is uncertain right now, and I kind of hope things will come clearer soon, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys a lot for watching. Watching and listening on YouTube and Spotify. Next week, we're going to be talking about basically more of the same stuff. And we're also going to be discussing a little bit more on Hailie Deegan and how we think she's going to do in the 2020 ARCA Series season, and with this new partnership that she has with Ford and DGR Crosley. And yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. We're just going to be diving a little bit deeper than that. And maybe, I mean, it would be cool. I mean, also at the same time as I'm thinking about this, it would be really cool to have Hailie Deegan on the show. But, you know, at the same time, it's just, you never really know. I mean, Hailie, if you're listening to this, if you want to join, feel free to do so. Just hit me up on Twitter if you want to join. I don't really want to force this down your throat. I know that you are a very, very busy girl, very busy woman. So if you are listening to this, feel free to hit me up on Twitter if you want to be a part of this. So, I mean, that would be awesome. But yes, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. Why not? But anyways, thank you guys a lot for listening on YouTube and Spotify. I'm Elijah Leonard from the Leonard Station signing out, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 4 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show.
Goodbye.